Hello and welcome to the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Johnstone, and I have an incredible offer for you today. What we've done is we've taken the 10 most profitable methods to grow your mortgage business that we have learned from interviewing the producers on this podcast, many of whom are doing over $100 million in volume per year. And we've packaged them together into a condensed 45-minute training where you get to learn the 10 most successful and profitable activities that you should be running in your mortgage business. Then we show you how to automate those processes with people and systems so that they run and continue to produce loan applications and new partners that want to send you business pre-booked into your calendar without you having to do any cold calls or chasing or really any work. It's a blueprint for you to be able to produce more in your business while actually working less. And you can go get that training today for free at chriswebinar.com. That's chriswebinar.com. So make sure you head over there today, grab that training for free, and make sure that you watch it, because the sooner you get started on implementing these strategies, the sooner you can see results and continue to grow your mortgage business. Thank you again for being here with us for this episode, and enjoy another one on the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast. We are blessed today with Josh Mettle. Josh, thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure, brother. I'm glad to be here, and you and I are going to inspire some people. So let's go.
Awesome. Well, I'm a huge fan of your content. You do a great job on social media and LinkedIn. Great job with video marketing. But before we dive into some of that stuff, could you give us your background? How you got started, how you got to where you are today in the mortgage industry?
Yeah, 100%. So funny story, Chris. My first day in the mortgage industry, believe it or not, was literally 9/11. And I'm driving to the first day, my new office, and I'm hearing the news on the radio of the planes hitting the buildings. And I was like, this cannot be a good sign for my first day in mortgage. And it was, I don't know if you remember that time, man, but it was weird. Like you couldn't have conversations around business. It was just, it was like the world just pushed time out and needed a little while to heal. And it was a really kind of scary entryway into the mortgage world. But kind of serendipitously, I don't know if you remember what happened with interest rates right about that time, but interest rates moved from, as I recall, they were right about 8.5, and they dipped down. And we saw, about a 2% improvement in interest rates over that next year. And so it was my first realization that when really shitty things happen, really terrible things where, you think like literally the world might be ending, that in those moments of depths of despair, there actually is opportunity. And I saw a lot of people kind of get froze in that moment. And I saw people get froze in 2006 and 2008. And I saw people get froze in 2020 in COVID. And some of those people are still froze, by the way. And I'm seeing loan officers and other professionals get froze for the economy right now. And so I think maybe just a good way to kick this off is in every one of those moments where the what is hitting the fan, there is opportunity if we have the wherewithal to focus our energy in the right place. So that was day one. The first 10 years I worked with builders and real estate investors. Actually, reverse that order. I worked with real estate investors and then started to marry them with builders. And so, my first full year in the mortgage business, I was blessed to break six figures as a 20-year-old kid, which was like, I can't even spend that much money. What do you do? And I figured that out, by the way. It just took me a while. But, and then, by year 10, when I was 29, Chris, I had my very first year where I broke seven figures. Wow. So I had $1 million gross income year by the age of 29, and then the Great Recession hit.
Yeah.
And you probably have a pretty good idea what happened to my real estate investor business building pillars of my business. Bug meet windshield. And
wow.
I just got demolished in that time frame. But what was crazy was there was a day where I realized for sure my business model had failed. It was broken. I can't fix this fast enough. I got to pivot. And in that moment, I was coaching with Coach Bill Hart, who's an epic mentor of mine and many others in the mortgage community. And Bill helped me figure out my next pillar of my business, which actually ended up being physicians. And so the random story of how that all came together. But the last 12 years of my mortgage career was all around consumer direct marketing in a niche vertical in the mortgage world, and which was focused on doctors and medical professionals. So today we run, 50 websites and landing pages. We have thousands of articles, blogs, videos, ads in different Facebook groups and different financial advisor pages. And we generate about 15,000 leads per year from all of our online, what I call consumer direct marketing. And so today we run a team of about 20 LOs. We will do probably close to about 500 million in volume on my team this year. I'm also one of the co-creators of Neo Home Loans. We've got a bunch of other incredible branches that I help run and organize and run sales meetings and help figure out sales strategies. So it's been a crazy fun journey, not without lots of difficult moments staring in the mirror, going, Lord, I hope you're up there somewhere, because I don't think I got this one, but it's been a fun journey, man.
That is amazing. Well, there's always an answer when you go to prayer.
That's right. That's right. There's always an answer when you go to prayer. You might not like it, but there's an answer.
Yeah, that is the other half of it. Absolutely.
A few of those.
Yeah. Is there anybody else up there? Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
So if you could take us back to that moment where you realized that your business model was broken, you were going to have to do a hard pivot, because I think that's going to resonate with a lot of listeners right now. Maybe you were onto something, maybe a little bit too unbalanced towards refinances, and there's a lot of pivoting happening right now. So can you walk us through your thought process, how you went through that process, and why you went the way that you did?
Yeah, I want to break it I think that's a really great question. I actually have the great fortune to speak alongside Ryan Grant at the Mastermind Vegas Summit coming up in September. And this is really the core of the message that I intend to share. I'm working on my presentation right now, but there were a couple things, Chris, that I realized in that time. The first thing that I realized was I didn't have it figured out. I had one of those existential crisis moments where I looked within and I realized I got nothing. This house of cards is falling faster than I know how to catch or rebuild. And so the first thing I did was I hired Coach Bill Hart, and I said, I'm 90 days from bankruptcy and losing 53 rental properties, and I'm probably going to lose my wife and my house and all the other stuff that I've spent the last 10 years building. I need some help, brother. And so I looked to seek wise counsel first and foremost. So that's the first thing that I would say in these times. Don't alienate yourself or hole up. Find somebody who has a little longer down the path perspective and follow their advice. Just let them lead you if that's what you need. The other thing is I had to really work on my inside game at that point. And then what I meant by that is I had to really take absolute control of my schedule and also what I allowed to rest in the most valuable 6 inches of real estate in the world, which is the space between your ears, right? And I had to have dominion on the content that I was allowing myself to take in. So I turned off all news at that time.
Yes.
I only listened to the podcast that made me feel good and challenged me. I got really into marketing. My bedtime, my wife and I were living in a high-rise condo downtown, and when you live in a high-rise condo downtown and you're young and you spend money like you're trying to heat the fireplace, you just throw it in there, when it needs a little to warm up the house. I ended up going out 4 or 5 times a week and get home at midnight. So I had to tighten up that schedule. Started going to bed at 8 o'clock. I started waking up at 1:30 in the morning, Chris. I did this for 4 years. It was not fun, but I woke up in the morning and I had a routine where I had kind of a morning gratitude session, a vitamin routine. I would study internet marketing for 90 minutes as I'm trying to rebuild this consumer direct marketing channel. And then I would go to work on a project for another 90 minutes. So I would study for 90 minutes and then I would actually apply what I was learning. So it could be an email blast. It could be copy for a website. It could be a marketing piece that I'm going to write and I'm going to put on somebody else's blog. And so I'd get 3 hours of work in before my wife and I went to the gym at 6 in the morning.
Wow.
We'd go to the gym at 6 in the morning. My son was born somewhere in that journey around that time. So, we'd have breakfast and I'd be in the office until 8. I'd leave at 6 and at 8 o'clock I was back to bed. And so I really took dominion over my time, but not only just my time and my schedule, but my mind. Like I was really, I remember looking at a few of my friends and going, I can't hang out with this dude anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like there was a couple builders that I'd become social with and they were in such dire, the world is ending energy that I started to take on that energy. And I realized that it was super counterproductive. But then there was like 2 friends who were really into fitness and they didn't care if the economy was going to hell. And I'm like, I'm going to hang out with them more because they're not watching the news either. And so I call that all the inside game. So that was crucial. And so found a coach. I got really good at controlling my time and my inside game. And then I created space in the morning where I was actually working on my business. And then I just cranked, man. I remember I walked in, my mom and I own our real estate property business together. And she said, I remember her saying, well, you're in a chippy mood. And I'm like, yeah, I decided I'm not going to participate in this recession anymore. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing. I'm just going. And so, yeah, I think in that order, if I wouldn't have had the mentorship, if I wouldn't have had dominion over what was going on in here and my schedule, then I wouldn't have been able to get to the place where I'm like, look, I'm just going to put in 12 hours and the results are going to be the results. Like I can't control all of those factors, but I can stay busy. I can stay tenacious. I can call my realtors. I can call my past clients. I can do the things that I know are going to lead to business. And I'm just going to focus on that. And, by the grace of God, rates started to come down. We got that, tax credit incentive, like little things started to happen. And as those things happened, because I'd been so kind of tenacious, the doors just started opening, right? And boom, the next 12 years were a total rocket ride.
That is amazing. That is, the whole you become the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with is such an important exercise to go through.
Totally.
Especially when you're in that space.
And sometimes you just need 5 less friends. Like I needed 5 less friends. I was like, my fab 5 turned into my fab 2, my mom and my wife. Everybody else was gone.
Right. And life is good.
Yeah. And when they get back in their A game, I can put it back on my speed dial. But until then, we just need space.
You also mentioned just being in that space and doing the work and having the results come from just like staying focused and somewhat detaching yourself from like, I'm going to do the work and that's the exercise. The exercise is not the result. And seeing those doors open as you were doing that is, I think, such a great testament to the fact that there's always business to be had. There's always growth to be had for those that are willing to put the time and the effort and the work in.
100%. And I've been talking a lot to our team around, this is a different market. I mean, let's just grab the reality of the situation. Mortgage applications are at a 22-year low.
Yeah.
If you want to outwork that current reality, you got to do things that you were not willing to do in the last 22 years.
Yep.
And I watched a great mortgage coach interview. I wish I could say this guy's last name right, and I apologize if I get it wrong. I want to say it's Steve LaGrange. He's a real estate coach. And he said two things that really struck me. He said, right now, the only thing we should be worried about is controlling the controllables. And all the stuff we can't control that freaks us out, like, cool, I see it, it's over there, but I can't control it. I can control these 5 things. So if that thing freaks me out that I can't control, I'm going to do these 5 things better because I can control those things. And so I think that's big. We've been talking to our team a lot about that. And the other thing is, I don't think people are reaching out and talking to their past clients nearly enough. I see people coming in the office. I see people emailing. I see people doing social media texts or videos. And I'm like, dude, how many past clients did you talk to today? None. Okay. Well, in case you don't know, they're sitting on record equity. There's never been so much wealth in housing. Like the piggy banks are overflowing. Dollars are falling out of the windows of the homes of all those clients. They have no idea how to use the equity productively and create more wealth with that equity. They have tons of questions. Should I sell and go rent? Should I take out an equity line? Is this a place for me to start investing in real estate? I had a client consultation yesterday, and he was talking about taking out $250,000 to put a pool in his backyard, and he can afford it. He's told, it's not a big deal. And I said, hey, this is a big decision. We're talking about an $850,000 mortgage. I said, let me just check in with you. Like, how are you on your financial journey? And he was like, for those of you that listen to the podcast, it's just a blank stare with some clicks. And he was like, don't really know what you mean. And I said, well, what are you doing for your retirement savings? And he says, oh, I'm maxing out my 401k. And I'm like, cool. Do you have any idea how much you have in there? No, I don't open the statements. How's it performing? Don't know. Cool. Have you done any kind of future casting to see if you work another 30 years at the current contribution and at your current rate of return, how much money is that going to be? And then more importantly, if you draw that down 4% a year, which is kind of like the safe number, you can draw out 4%. How much income is that for you and your family to live on? Don't know. And I'm like, okay, cool. We got a starting place. Before we take out 250 grand to put in a pool, before we figure out, maybe we should be taking out $1 million because maybe you need to buy 2 rental properties in Alabama where you can still get cash flow. We need to have like a deeper financial conversation. So, if I could leave people with one kind of, if I could inspire people to do one thing differently, call 5 past clients a day. Just get on the phone with them. Hey, I'm just checking in. Do you realize, Chris, how much your home has gone up? Yeah. Dude, congratulations I remember when you made that decision, it was scary. It was a lot. And in 3 years, your house has gone up $300,000. Like, congratulations. Have you ever thought about what you might do with that? See where that open-ended question goes. Then the next question, the next open-ended question, just out of curiosity, Chris, where are you at on your financial journey?
Yep.
Just call 5 past clients a day and ask those 2 questions and watch what happens in 30 days. I'm 100% sure you're going to get loans. And then somebody's going to say, well, I don't have that many people in my past client database. How many people do you have on your social media?
Yep.
Go through them and rank them. Find the people that you have a connection with. I just spoke with the guy who was the high school quarterback in my high school football team. We're talking I graduated in 96. So we're talking 26 years ago is the last time I spoke with this dude. Just had a conversation with him today because we connected on social media and asked him, he was actually looking to buy a home for his daughter. And I said, hey, just out of curiosity, how you doing on your financial journey? He's like, I don't know, man. And I'm like, well, do you want to find out? Do you want to go through it together? He's like, yeah, I've been thinking about buying investment properties forever. So my point is, you don't have to have a huge database. There's people you played football with, or you were cheerleading with, or whatever, you played soccer with, that you could reach out and start having these conversations with. And if we're going to get through this, that's what I think we need to be doing.
That's so exceptionally valuable because one of the things that we do for our clients is we call their past customer database for them. And the number one question that we get is, okay, great, you're going to set these appointments for me. What do I talk to these people about?
Right.
And that right there is just absolute gold because it's value based. It's that you can literally show up, provide value to people. And I don't want to take it too far, but if you look at turning that into a potential referral relationship with a certified, a financial planner or a wealth
Yes.
advisor, insurance professional, there's all kinds of opportunities to help people with tools and resources that they don't even know that they have access to, which again just opens you up to more referrals. And everybody gets to win.
So Chris, I think the reason why people don't ask those questions, because that's the real question, is why are loan officers not doing it?
Yeah.
It's fear, right?
Oh,
We're
absolutely.
afraid we don't have anything to say. We don't have any value to transfer. So if that's your current reality, you have to get to a place where you believe you have value to share. So
Yes.
let's talk about a few potential resources. If somebody's going, Josh, I couldn't ask somebody those questions because I wouldn't know how to advise them. Well, then a couple of things that I might suggest. We're currently taking everybody in NEO through CMPS, Certified Mortgage Planning Specialist. Momentify is the company. Jabron is the CEO of that company. If you haven't interviewed him, you should. He's a rad human being.
Awesome. Thank
But
you.
yeah, but the content inside CMPS will take you from a white belt or yellow belt to a black belt. It's great content. Barry Habib on the MBS Highway platform has another mortgage certification that is also really, really good. They're different. I would say if you need it, take both. Invest in yourself. Like I said, the most valuable and important real estate on the planet is the 6 inches between your ears. And this is the time, if you have a little bit more time, get to that place where you can have a question. You can ask a question like, where are you at on your financial journey? And you can help them. You can help pave the way to what the next steps might be. One more platform that I hope you don't mind that I'm giving all these
No, not at all.
pearls. But I mentioned this before. Mortgage Coach's YouTube channel is exceptional. It's exceptional. I'm not sure it's going to give you all of the fundamental, like foundational ground floor knowledge that you need to have really high level questions, but it certainly has a lot to offer. And I think as an industry, Chris, we got to get better or we're going to get replaced.
Yep.
And the better.coms, the Rocket Mortgages, if Amazon ever puts a mortgage button, in the app on my wife's phone, we all are going to have to differentiate our value. And we either become advisors and we either become something more than just a transactional relationship, or I don't think we have much time left. Like we've got to move that direction as an industry really fast.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Absolutely. And a big shout out to Dave Savage and Sales Boomerang and everything that they're doing over there. So fantastic. Josh, thank you for being so generous with your time today and sharing with us. That was some incredible knowledge. I would love to have you back on the show again, but that was absolutely fantastic. How do people find out more information about NEO and about you? How do people connect with you?
Yeah, cool. Well, you can email me, josh@joshmettle.com. Love to hear from you. You can hit me up search me on social media, neohomeloans.com. You can message us through there too. And love to answer any questions if anybody has any.
That's phenomenal. We'll have all that in the show notes. Thank you for being here and thank you all for listening and have a great day. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Chris.
Hey, it's Chris. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed our guest today on the podcast. This is a reminder that we have just finished taking the greatest lessons from all of our guests and packaging them together into a brief online video presentation that's going to teach you the 10 most profitable ways to grow your mortgage business. And then we show you how to automate those processes in your business with people and systems so that you get the results without you having to do the work every day. This is quite literally a blueprint so that you walk into your mortgage business every day with pre-booked appointments with borrowers that want to meet with you and referral partners that want to send you business, so that you are spending your time inside your mortgage business on the highest dollar per hour activities, and you truly become the executive of your business, a true business owner, rather than just somebody who's going to a job every day and making a wage on the way through. This is an absolutely incredibly powerful training for you, and I cannot wait for you to experience it. So head on over to chriswebinar.com. That's chriswebinar.com to get that free training today. Now, if you could do me another favor, if you enjoyed this episode, please head on over to iTunes, search the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast, and give us a 5-star rating and review, really on any podcast platform that you're watching this on. That just 30 seconds of your time goes to help another loan officer in the industry discover this information and really help put their life and their business on track for more success. We are all in this together, and there is more than enough for all of us in the industry. So I would love if you left us that 5-star rating and review. Don't forget to stay tuned for our next episode, and I'll see you then.